is Red, White, and Bluegrass.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in government, education, and the private sector have ignited a firestorm of debate both in D.C. and here in Kentucky. Last year, lawmakers did not reach a consensus on legislation that would have eliminated DEI programs on college campuses. The sponsor behind that bill is backing another attempt this year. House Bill 4 would require universities to close DEI offices, eliminate staff, and ban funding for related initiatives by June. It would also prohibit mandatory diversity statements, trainings, and courses. The bill received its first reading on the House floor on Friday and could be heard in committee as soon as Tuesday. So, Senator Douglas, I want to start with you here. Walk me through why this is a priority for Republicans in the House and Senate.
Well, I tend to use a common sense approach. When we take a look at DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion, one of the things that we really need to consider is how do we define it? We really don't have a definition. And one of the things House Bill 4 does, it actually defines what falls under that category. Once we define something, then we can have common ground in terms of how do we fix it. I look at diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I see House Bill number 4 actually defining fairness. And fairness is really important. It defines how we should treat people. What expectations should we have of those people? That is, all of us. I think Senate Bill or House Bill number 4 actually promotes the development of self-respect, self-determination, and self-responsibility. And for me, given my upbringing, it actually helps remove some of the burden of just dependence on others that I've been told all the time that I as a young black man really couldn't accomplish anything unless someone else helped me. And I've been very fortunate to accomplish some things, and I want others to understand you accomplish these things because of the time and because of the effort and because of the love and because of the respect that you put in, that you helped other people. It wasn't just that other people got you there because you don't have the talents or the tools. I want people to know you have those talents. You have those tools within you.
So I'm going to take a moment to bring in Representative Donworth here. What is your view on this particular issue and some of the questions you may be asking during debate?
Well, I think for me, the idea that diversity could ever be a bad thing and something that we wouldn't celebrate is hurtful and wrong. We're sitting at a table with a white man, a black man, and a white woman here. We are diversity right here. That is what our country is built on. There is still a huge achievement gap, and I hear what you're saying of people saying, no, you can't do it, or you wouldn't be able to do it without a handout per se, and I have never seen it as a handout. It is not saying you wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. It is, here's a hand. You're going to do it, let me help you. And those are very different conversations. I have also talked to so many people who are black, brown, gay, it doesn't matter. So many people who say, I have been intentionally excluded from doing X, Y, or Z. I personally have felt that as a woman. And so to say that I'm thrilled that you did not feel like that was something that kept you from achieving your goals, but it has for a lot of people. And so how do we find a balance where all people can be accepted and helped and nurtured, and ultimately we want everybody to be able to thrive?
Well, I think there's a misunderstanding. I never suggested that I didn't feel that way. But one of the things I had to learn by not having the diversity, equity, and inclusion forced on me is I had to look inside myself and realize this is very personal for me. There's a difference between facts and feelings. And often when we feel something, we don't go out and put ourselves out there on the line. The fact is that those same things occurred with me. I'm the 14th of 16 children. I was born in a log cabin. I got it. I get it. But I also knew that I had people around me who loved me, and they expected me to reach out, and then they were able to help me. They needed to know where I wanted to go, as opposed to them telling me where I needed to go and what I needed to do.
And I wouldn't say anybody's telling somebody what they need to do. I think that's always got to be up to the student coming up and figuring out what it is they want to do with their life. I don't think nobody who has diversity, equity, and inclusion in mind is saying, no, you have to go to medical school, for example.
I don't see it as a have-to case. What I see is that there are very, very strong suggestions. And often when we have those strong suggestions that this is an area you should go in, we really, really, really discourage students from looking into areas that they might like.
Senator Douglas, I don't want to cut you off here, but like I said, these segments do fly right on by, and we're unfortunately out of time on this one, but we expect a lot more robust discussion on this issue in Frankfort.